Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me carefully. You were not born to live stuck. You were born to soar. You were born to conquer. You were born to create and to dominate the space you were assigned on this earth. There is a divine fingerprint on your life that speaks of greatness, not mediocrity. You were formed with intention, woven together with gifts, talents, dreams, and a unique calling that no one else can replicate. Long before you faced a single challenge, your destiny was designed with success in mind. You were not created to struggle endlessly without victory. You were not sent into this world to be trapped by fear, held hostage by past mistakes, or locked in cycles of frustration. From the very beginning, you were built to overcome, to rise, to thrive. Feeling stuck is a trick of perception. It makes you look at your circumstances as permanent when they are only temporary. It whispers lies that what you see today is all there will ever be, but deep inside, your spirit knows better. There's a restless energy within you, a powerful dissatisfaction that refuses to accept stagnation as your final story. That dissatisfaction isn't a curse, it's a clue. It's the alarm clock inside your soul trying to shake you awake to a greater life that's calling you. The truth is, stuckness often happens when you stop moving, not when opportunity stops existing. Opportunities haven't left your life, your belief in them has been clouded. Every day that you wake up, the universe is still offering you fresh chances, open doors, and unexplored roads. Your mind might have gotten tired, your heart might have gotten heavy, but the supply of possibilities hasn't dried up. You just have to dare to see them again. Stagnation is not your inheritance. Movement is. When a river stops flowing, it starts dying. The same thing happens inside of you when you buy into the lie that you have nowhere else to go. The truth is, the only reason you feel stuck is because your vision has become smaller than your potential. Your life is so much bigger than the box you're currently standing in. If you were meant to stay comfortable, everything inside you wouldn't be screaming for change. That tension you feel isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's your spirit reminding you that you were made for more. You've survived too much, fought through too many battles, and carried too many dreams to settle now. Every struggle you've been through has been a setup for your strength, not a sentence to your suffering. The challenges you face are not proof that you're stuck. They're proof that you're being strengthened for a higher level. Every storm you weathered, every disappointment you endured, and every setback you survived has added something to you that comfort never could. The chains that feel like they are holding you back are often chains you have the key to unlock. That key is hidden inside your decisions, your faith, your willingness to act even when you don't feel ready. Too often, people wait for the feeling of freedom before they move. But real freedom comes after the movement. If you keep waiting until you feel perfect to take a step, you'll wait your whole life. Taking the step is what produces the feeling. Courage isn't a prerequisite for movement, it's the reward. No matter how long you've been sitting in a situation, you are not cemented to it. Life is dynamic. Circumstances can change in a day, a minute, even a moment. When you align your decisions with your destiny instead of your doubts, being stuck is not a life sentence, it's a season that you have the authority to end. Seasons change when you decide to move, not when the conditions outside of you become comfortable. You don't need permission from your past to step into your future. You already have all the permission you'll ever need. Every great life you admire was once standing where you are, at the crossroads between stagnation and movement, fear and faith, comfort and calling. Greatness is not reserved for the chosen few, it's reserved for the ones who choose. When you choose to move, even in uncertainty, you unlock new doors that you didn't even know were possible. Staying stuck feels safe, but moving forward, even with shaking hands and a pounding heart, is the birthplace of miracles. You are a carrier of potential. There are books unwritten inside you, businesses unbuilt, songs unsung, relationships unformed, and impact still waiting to be made. The world is not complete without the contribution you were designed to bring. When you stay stuck, you rob not only yourself, but every person whose life you were meant to touch. Your gift is not optional. It's necessary, and it's too big, too important to leave it buried under the debris of delay, fear, and excuses. You have spent enough time circling the same mountain, replaying the same doubts, reliving the same frustrations. You were not born to live trapped in cycles of confusion and fear. You were born to break through barriers, to shatter ceilings, to turn walls into doors. Inside you is a power that hasn't even been fully tapped yet. You were created to advance, to evolve, to transform, to move. Yeah, you were designed to rise. And rising starts with the decision to refuse to stay stuck another moment longer. Stuck is not something that happens to you. Stuck is something that happens inside of you. It's not the world around you that ties your hands or blocks your path. It's the thoughts you entertain, the stories you believe, and the limits you accept that create the illusion of imprisonment. Every time you tell yourself you have no options, you build another wall inside your mind. Every time you agree with fear, you lock another door that was never truly locked in the first place. When you believe, you're stuck. You start seeing barriers where there are actually opportunities. You see closed doors instead of hallways. You see walls instead of windows. The lens you look through becomes so fogged up with doubt, disappointment, and discouragement that you lose sight of how much freedom you still have. Freedom isn't found outside of you. It's fought for and claimed inside your mind first. You can be in a difficult situation and still move with freedom if your mindset is clear, powerful, and aligned with possibility. There are countless people who have changed their lives, not because their conditions changed first, but because their mindset shifted first. The prisoner who dreams of a better tomorrow, the entrepreneur who rises from bankruptcy, the person who rebuilds their life after heartbreak, all of them start the journey not by waiting for a miracle outside, but by creating a miracle inside. When the mind refuses to be trapped, no circumstance can keep you confined forever. The greatest prisons are the invisible ones. They are built by fear, guarded by doubt, and reinforced by repetition. If you tell yourself long enough that you're powerless, eventually you'll believe it. If you rehearse the story that you're stuck, even your opportunities will look like threats. But the minute you challenge that narrative, the minute you question whether you are as stuck as you think, cracks begin to form in the walls you once thought were unbreakable. And through those cracks, the light of new possibilities starts to shine. Stuck is seductive because it offers an excuse. It says you don't have to try anymore. It says you don't have to risk failing again. It says you can stay here where it's safe, but safe and stagnant are not the same thing. You can stay safe in your comfort zone until it rots into a cage. Every dream, every goal, every ounce of potential begins to decay when you stay stuck long enough. Comfort is not the absence of challenge. Sometimes comfort is the silent killer of destiny. So the most dangerous thing about feeling stuck is not the limitation itself. It's how you start to identify with it. You stop saying, I feel stuck, and you start saying, I am stuck. You move from describing a temporary feeling to declaring a permanent identity. But who you are is not determined by how you feel. Your identity is not based on your emotions, your fears, or even your failures. Your identity is based on the unchangeable truth that you were made to grow, move, and succeed. There's a reason why people can be surrounded by opportunity and still feel trapped. It's not because there aren't doors open, it's because their minds are still closed. When you decide to believe that there is always a way forward, you start seeing paths where you once only saw dead ends. Possibility is not something you wait to find, it's something you train yourself to recognize. And once you recognize it, you can seize it, no matter how impossible it may have once seemed. Being stuck often comes from rehearsing what went wrong instead of rehearsing what's still possible. You can't move into the future if your eyes are glued to the rearview mirror. Progress demands that you shift your focus from the weight of your history to the promise of your destiny. Every second you spend blaming the past is a second you steal from building the future. The question isn't, why did this happen to me? The real question is, what am I going to build with what's still inside me? You are not the first person to face what you're facing. You are not the only one who has felt trapped, scared, or unsure. But you have the same power that every overcomer, every pioneer, every breakthrough maker had, the power to choose what you believe. You can believe in the barriers or you can believe in the breakthrough. You can agree with the fear or you can agree with the future. What you align your mind with will either become your ceiling or your catalyst. If you treat stuck like a permanent condition, you'll settle where you were meant to pass through. But if you see it for what it is, a temporary mindset, a moment that can be shifted, you will find that you are far more powerful than you ever realize. Stuck is loud, but your destiny is louder. Stuck screams for your attention, but your calling quietly waits for your decision. The moment you stop giving your power to your problems is the moment you start reclaiming your freedom to move forward. Freedom is not some distant prize reserved for a lucky few. It is a reality that lives just one decision away from where you are right now. Every major change that has ever happened in someone's life started with a single moment of clarity, a single choice to move forward instead of standing still. You don't need 1,000 opportunities lined up perfectly to change your life. You just need one decision made with complete conviction. That decision has more power than the conditions that surround you, more power than the fears that have been trying to hold you back. The power of a decision is that it immediately shifts your direction, even before you see the results. Before anything changes outside of you, the decision changes something inside of you. It realigns your focus. It ignites your will. It moves your internal compass toward a new destination. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to be willing to choose differently, think differently, and act differently. That single point of decision can break chains that years of waiting, wishing, and worrying could never break. People spend their lives waiting for a moment when everything feels perfect, the perfect plan, the perfect resources, the perfect opportunity. But freedom doesn't come from perfect conditions. Freedom comes from imperfect decisions made with perfect faith. Faith that says, I don't need to see the whole staircase, I just need to take the next step. The decision to believe in possibility, even when you can't see it, is the spark that turns your current prison into your next platform. One decision to rise higher can silence years of self-doubt. One decision to move forward can erase the weight of past failures. One decision to believe in yourself can open doors you didn't even know existed. And the beauty of it is that you don't need anyone's permission to make that decision. No one has to agree with you. No one has to see what you see. As long as you choose, as long as you commit, the shift begins the moment your mind aligns with your mission. The truth is, many people are one uncomfortable choice away from a totally different life, choosing to leave the familiar for the unknown, choosing to start again when giving up would be easier, choosing to believe in abundance when scarcity has always been the story. The decision won't always feel good at first. It might even terrify you, but fear is not a signal to stop. It's often a signal that you're standing on the edge of your next breakthrough. Real growth begins the moment you dare to choose differently. Freedom is not a matter of time, it's a matter of action. Time will pass whether you decide or not, but action turns passing time into progress. Every second you hesitate, fear strengthens its grip. Every second you doubt, comfort tightens its chains. But the second you decide, really decide, things start to move. Life starts to rearrange itself around your faith, around your determination, around your willingness to break away from what was and step into what could be. Think about all the moments in history when someone's decision changed everything. The decision to refuse to accept injustice, the decision to pursue a dream, the decision to take a risk. None of these moments were guaranteed to succeed when the decision was made. The power was never in the guarantee. The power is in the resolve. Greatness doesn't come from certainty. Greatness comes from commitment. The same fire that burned in them is burning in you right now, waiting for you to choose. Waiting feels safe because it postpones the pain of risking failure. But waiting also delays the joy of real freedom. You can wait another year, another season, another lifetime, but at the end of that waiting will always be the same question. What would have happened if I had decided sooner? Waiting doesn't protect you from pain, it often prolongs it. Choosing doesn't eliminate fear, but it makes fear irrelevant. Once you make the decision, fear no longer controls the outcome, your action does. There will always be reasons to hesitate. There will always be voices inside and outside telling you why you can't, why you shouldn't, why it's too late. But the only voice that matters is the one inside you that refuses to stay quiet any longer. That voice that keeps whispering, there's more for you. That voice that dares to believe that you were made for something greater than survival. Listening to that voice and acting on it, that is the decision that sets you free. You don't have to know every detail of the journey ahead. You just have to know that staying stuck is not an option. You just have to know that your life is too valuable to be lived halfway. One decision, one act of courage, one moment of commitment. That's the distance between the life you have and the life you're capable of building. And it's a distance you have the power to cross whenever you are ready to decide. Before you can break out into the life you are meant to live, you must be willing to break away from everything that has been keeping you small. Freedom does not begin with the external world bending to your will. It begins with your internal world breaking away from the beliefs, patterns, and attachments that no longer serve you. It is impossible to hold on to the habits of the past and step fully into the promises of the future. Something inside must give way. Something inside must be shattered. Breaking first means acknowledging that the version of you that survived until now may not be the version of you that can thrive in what's next. It means looking honestly at the patterns you've normalized, the excuses, the delays, the compromises, and daring to dismantle them. Growth demands surrender. Growth demands shedding. A seed must break open before it can become a tree. In the same way, you must allow the shell of your former self to crack if you are ever going to rise into your true potential. It's not the circumstances around you that are the greatest barriers. It's the comfort zones inside you. It's the way you've gotten used to thinking small, speaking doubt, expecting disappointment. And the hardest thing to face is not the external obstacles, but the internal agreements you made with fear and failure. Breaking free starts when you break the lie that says you have to stay the same. It starts when you decide that where you are is not where you are willing to remain. Most people pray for breakthrough without understanding that breakthrough is violent by nature. It is the tearing apart of what was to make room for what can be. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. It shakes your routines, rattles your expectations, and demands you let go of your old excuses. You cannot tiptoe into freedom. You must be willing to tear down the walls you built for protection that have now become your prison. Comfort built them, fear decorated them, but only courage can tear them down. Breaking first is not about destroying who you are. It's about dismantling everything you're not. It's about smashing the mirrors of false identity that tell you you're not good enough, not ready enough, not worthy enough. It's about breaking the chains of generational limitations, personal excuses, and the heavy armor of survival that no longer fits the life you are called to build. It's about giving yourself permission to become different, to become greater, to become free. When you refuse to break, you guarantee your bondage. You hold on to the very things that hold you back. You defend the very mindsets that disqualify you. But when you willingly step into the breaking process, you invite transformation. You allow the fire of change to refine you instead of destroy you. You step into the identity of a builder, a creator, a warrior. You stop asking life to be easy and start asking yourself to be stronger. Every breakthrough story you admire is a breaking story first. Before the success came the surrender. Before the triumph came the tearing away of everything false, everything fake, everything fragile. No one walks into greatness still clinging to their old limitations. Greatness is born from the rubble of what once was. Freedom is birthed from the ashes of broken fear, broken pride, broken comfort. You cannot become new while still being loyal to the old version of you. The pain of breaking is real, but so is the pain of staying stuck. At least when you allow yourself to break, you're moving towards something greater. At least when you allow yourself to break, You're aligning with the truth of who you are meant to be. The pain of growth is temporary. The pain of regret is permanent. When you finally decide that staying stuck hurts more than breaking free, you'll stop resisting the process and start embracing it. Breaking first also means breaking your own timelines. It means letting go of how fast you thought it should happen, how easy you thought it would be, how neatly you thought it would unfold. Real change rarely fits neatly into your plans. Real freedom requires real flexibility. You have to be willing to give up control in order to gain destiny. You have to trust that even the breaking has a purpose, even the pain has a process, even the delay has a design. If you want to break free, you must first break the idea that you can do it without discomfort, without sacrifice, without total surrender. Freedom is not given cheaply. It is claimed boldly. It is wrestled for in the midnight hours of decision and discipline. It is fought for in the quiet spaces where no one else is watching. It is won in the places where you choose to break the old and make space for the new. Your future is waiting for you to move, not for you to ask someone if it's okay. The life you dream about isn't locked behind someone else's approval, someone else's validation, or someone else's blessing. Too many people waste precious years waiting for a green light that's never coming. They wait for a nod, for applause, for a hand-picked invitation to start living. But the truth is that the permission you've been waiting for has been sitting inside you all along, hidden beneath the fear and hesitation you've been trained to obey. There is no authority higher than your own decision to act. There is no committee voting on whether you get to fulfill your purpose. You were born with everything necessary to begin. The calling you feel is not a suggestion, it's a command, it's a summons from your destiny, not a polite request for you to step forward. When you recognize that, you stop seeking consensus from people who can't even see the vision that burns inside of you. You stop begging for approval from those who have never had the courage to build anything themselves. The longer you wait for someone to validate your future, the more you delay the life you were meant to live. Waiting makes you passive. It turns bold visions into distant wishes. It turns immediate action into endless procrastination. Action is what signals to the universe that you're serious. Action is what pulls opportunities toward you. You don't get momentum by thinking, wishing, or seeking permission. You get momentum by moving. And even the smallest step taken in faith carries more power than 1,000 good intentions left unacted upon. Every world changer, every pioneer, every revolutionary had to move before they were validated. They had to take steps into the unknown while everyone around them doubted, criticized, or ignored them. They didn't wait for a consensus before they built their dream. They understood that the very act of moving forward without permission is what created the future they wanted. You are no different. The same spirit that stirred in them is stirring in you. It is restless for action, not for approval. The idea that you need permission is a lie that serves only to keep you small. It's a strategy of fear to keep you compliant, to keep you safe, to keep you stuck. But safety and freedom rarely live in the same place. Permission-based living leads to regret. Action-based living leads to fulfillment. Every time you move without waiting for applause, without asking for validation, without hesitating for reassurance, you build a future that belongs to you and not to the expectations of others. Your destiny doesn't negotiate with doubt. It doesn't slow down because people around you don't get it. Your destiny is urgent, aggressive, and impatient for your participation. It demands that you move forward even when the road isn't clear. It demands that you act with conviction even when you're surrounded by uncertainty. The ones who create the future are the ones who show up consistently, courageously, and without apology. They are the ones who understand that action itself is a form of faith. Every excuse rooted in waiting for permission can be replaced with action rooted in obedience to your calling. You don't need to explain yourself to people who don't understand. You don't need to justify your dreams to people who stopped dreaming years ago. Your responsibility is to act, to build, to create, to push. Every second you waste explaining is the second you could be using to execute. Permission is a distraction. Action is a decision. The fear of disapproval is a trap that keeps countless people from ever even starting. They're so busy worrying about being judged, laughed at, or misunderstood that they live a version of life so small it doesn't even brush against their true potential. But the truth is, people are going to judge you whether you move or not. They'll criticize you whether you build or stay broke. If judgment is unavoidable, you might as well be judged for being bold. If criticism is inevitable, you might as well be criticized for chasing something worth catching. Your future doesn't ask if you're ready. It demands that you get ready. It doesn't wait for you to feel qualified. It qualifies you through action. Growth doesn't happen in preparation mode alone. Preparation has its place, but at some point, preparation must surrender to execution. It's the doing that builds the confidence. It's the risk that sharpens the skill. It's the leap that teaches you how to land. You don't learn to fly by studying the sky. You learn to fly by jumping. Every dream you have, every vision that keeps you up at night is within reach if you will simply decide to move without permission. The key is in your hand. The door is yours to open. No one can hold back what belongs to the one who refuses to stop moving forward. Your future is not waiting for applause. It's waiting for action. It's waiting for you to step into it fully, fiercely, and without apology. Feelings are unreliable navigators when it comes to building the life you were meant to live. They are changeable, unpredictable, and often shaped by external circumstances that have nothing to do with your destiny. If you move based on feelings, you'll move inconsistently. You'll start today and stop tomorrow. You'll run when it's easy and retreat when it's hard. But when you move based on decision, you anchor yourself to a commitment that does not bend every time the winds of emotion blow against you. Decisions are made from conviction. Feelings are born from circumstance. When you decide who you are and what you are committed to, you eliminate the need for constant emotional check-ins. You don't have to feel motivated every day when you are driven by a decision. You don't have to feel brave every moment when you are powered by a choice you have already made. The decision itself carries you through the moments when your feelings are screaming at you to quit, to slow down, to turn back. If you let feelings run your life, your journey will be a roller coaster of highs and lows with no real destination. One minute you'll be fired up. The next, you'll be questioning everything. One day, you'll see the vision clearly. The next, you'll doubt it even exists. But when you have made a decision, a real final decision, you can acknowledge your feelings without allowing them to dictate your steps. You can feel afraid and still move forward. You can feel tired and still show up. You can feel uncertain and still choose progress over paralysis. Greatness is not the absence of emotion. Greatness is the mastery of it. It's the ability to feel doubt and still decide on faith. It's the discipline to feel discomfort and still act on courage. It's the wisdom to feel unready and still step into opportunity. Those who wait to feel ready, confident, or fearless before they act will be waiting forever. Those who choose to move based on decision rather than emotion will be the ones who create the results that others only dream about. Your feelings are indicators, not commanders. They can signal that you are stepping out of your comfort zone, but that's not a reason to stop. That's a reason to lean in. They can warn you that you're entering unfamiliar territory, but that's not a danger sign. That's a growth sign. Learn to listen to your feelings without submitting to them. Let them inform you, but never let them lead you. Your decision must be the driver. Your feelings can ride along, but they are not allowed to take the wheel. Most of the time, the actions that build success, freedom, and greatness are not the actions that feel the best in the moment. Waking up early doesn't always feel good. Saying no to distractions doesn't always feel comfortable. Facing rejection and pushing past failure doesn't feel inspiring while you're doing it. But decision says, I move anyway. Decision says, I act according to my future, not according to my fleeting emotion. Decision says, I am not a slave to how I feel. Discipline is born when decision rules over feelings. Discipline is what allows you to keep building when motivation disappears. It's what carries you through the dry seasons, the slow seasons, the seasons where nothing seems to be working. Without the dominance of decision, you will live at the mercy of emotional waves that rise and fall without warning. But when you choose decision over emotion, you plant your feet in the ground and move forward with a force that feelings cannot shake. Every time you honor a decision over a feeling, you strengthen your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who is reactive and start seeing yourself as someone who is resolute. You stop defining yourself by how you feel and start defining yourself by what you choose. That internal shift will do more for your future than any external resource you could ever acquire. It will harden your resilience, deepen your focus, and sharpen your results. If you look at the people who achieve lasting success, you'll see a pattern. They decided before they felt ready, and they stayed committed when their feelings tried to betray them. They don't ask themselves every morning if they feel like showing up. They show up because they decided that's who they are. They don't renegotiate their dreams based on the mood of the day. They act because their decision has already been made. You have that same power. You have that same ability to choose. The life you want is on the other side of emotional maturity. It's on the other side of choosing decision over feelings, purpose over pleasure, commitment over convenience. It's not about denying that you have emotions. It's about refusing to let them govern your destiny. Feelings are visitors, but decisions build empires. Feelings are fleeting, but decisions create legacies. When you anchor yourself to decision, you move with a strength that no storm can break. You were not designed to sit back and watch life pass you by. The world needs your voice, your vision, your courage, and your strength. Standing up is the first step. The moment you decide that you are done with mediocrity, done with playing small, and done with sitting on the sidelines. Standing up means taking full ownership of your life and your potential. It means rejecting the idea that you were meant to be ordinary and embracing the truth that you were born for something extraordinary. You were made to stand tall, not to blend in, not to hide in the shadows of doubt or fear. But standing up alone is not enough. Once you've made the decision to rise, you must step up. Stepping up is the action that follows the decision to rise. It's the commitment to moving beyond comfort, beyond safety, beyond everything that's familiar and easy. It's recognizing that greatness requires sacrifice, effort, and courage. Stepping up means facing challenges head on, even when the path is unclear. It means putting in the work when no one is watching. It means pushing yourself harder than you ever thought possible because you understand that the life you're meant to live won't come to you. You must go to it. Stepping up is where most people falter. They stand tall for a moment, but when the hard work and the discomfort show up, they hesitate. The truth is, stepping up is not supposed to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would do it. The discomfort you feel when you step up is simply the price of transformation. It's the sign that you're growing, evolving, and expanding beyond the version of yourself that has been limiting your potential. The discomfort is the proof that you're doing what most people are afraid to do. You're moving toward your greatness, even when it's hard. But it doesn't end with stepping up. If you want lasting change, if you want to experience the life that most only dream about, you must level up. Leveling up means taking everything you've learned from standing and stepping and applying it to the next level of your life. It's about going beyond where you are comfortable, not just in one area, but in every area. Leveling up means evolving into a version of yourself that operates on a higher frequency. It's about pushing your limits, breaking old habits, and transforming your mindset so that you are no longer bound by your past. Leveling up requires you to make decisions with a mindset of abundance, not scarcity. It demands that you let go of limiting beliefs that have kept you stuck in patterns that no longer serve you. It asks you to believe that there's always more to you than what you've seen so far. When you level up, you stop making excuses. You stop blaming circumstances. You stop waiting for the right time. You create the opportunity. You create the conditions that will allow you to rise to your highest potential. The best version of your life will never show up without you deciding to level up and take full responsibility for the life you are building. To level up, you also have to embrace failure as part of the process. Too many people get stuck in the mindset that failure is a sign of defeat, but true leaders understand that failure is simply a stepping stone. Each failure is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to adjust your strategy, and to get closer to the success you seek. The person who levels up doesn't shy away from challenges. They face them head on, learn from them, and rise even stronger. They understand that failure is not final, it's simply feedback, and they use that feedback to fuel their next level of action. Leveling up also requires you to surround yourself with people who challenge you, who hold you accountable, and who inspire you to become better. The people around you should push you to think bigger, act bolder, and dream grander. If the people in your circle don't inspire you to level up, you must be willing to make changes. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you want to level up, it's time to evaluate who you're surrounding yourself with and ensure that they are people who elevate you to your highest potential. Standing up, stepping up, and leveling up isn't just about personal achievement. It's about what you're able to contribute to the world around you. The more you elevate yourself, the more you are able to serve others. You cannot pour from an empty cup. The more you level up, the more you have to offer, whether that's in your career, your relationships, or your community. As you elevate, you become a beacon of inspiration to those who are still struggling to find their way. Your rise will spark the rise of others, creating a ripple effect that will impact everyone you come into contact with. But leveling up isn't a one-time event, it's a lifestyle. Every time you reach a new level, there's always a new challenge, a new obstacle, a new frontier to conquer. There's always room to grow, always a new way to stretch your capabilities. The key to maintaining your success and continuing to level up is to stay committed to the process of constant growth. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you start to plateau. True leveling up requires a mindset of continuous improvement. It requires you to constantly reassess, realign, and reset your standards for yourself. It doesn't matter where you are right now. What matters is where you are willing to go. You have the ability to rise higher than you've ever imagined. You have the power to step into a future that exceeds your wildest dreams. But it all starts with standing up, stepping up, and committing to the process of leveling up. No one else can do it for you. No one else can take the steps you are meant to take. The journey may be long, but it will be worth it. The future is waiting for you to rise. Will you stand up? Will you step up? Will you level up?